What is up, everybody? I have finally done it. The top 50 games of all time. My personal. This is the long version of this video. And what I mean by that is there's two versions. If you just want to see the list knocked out really quick, it's like 5 or 6 minutes. It'll pop up right now. You can go check it out. Short and sweet to the point. But this video, I'm going to dive into all of them. Every single game that's on this list, explain how much of a pain in the ass this has been to do, and then we'll kind of just go from there. So basically, I came up with a list of about 233 or 234 games that I have played, beaten, experienced, done in some sort of facet. Coming down to the top 50 has been really fucking hard. There's so many games that got snuffed that could easily be on this list. And near the end of this, there's 15 games that are honorable mentions. I just kind of picked 15 because I didn't how am I supposed to really pick? There's so many games going through this just barely again because I recorded the short version before this. I was like, dude, how did I not even put this in at least honorable mentions? It's just, it's so tough. But I'm going to go through my top 50. And here's the thing. This list is very fluid. This could change at a drop of an eye. If I were to redo this again blind without seeing the list that I created, I think my top 4 or 5 is pretty sound. But the rest of them could completely be in different order or might not even be on the list. So just know that going in. I'm a gamer. I love gaming. It's been part of my life for my whole entire life. And there's a lot of games on here that are snuffed, and there's not that many oldies, and I feel bad about that, but there should be a ton of them. But it's hard to be like, how can I put something like Root Beer Tapper that I love that's so basic over something like Red Dead Redemption 2? How can I really say that that's a better game? I might enjoy it a lot, and I might have played a lot of it, but it's levels. I should, it's almost like I feel like retro games should be its own separate list. But if I start doing that, lists are just going to go out of control, and I don't want to do that. So here's my top 50 games of all time, at least for now. Number 50, Mortal Kombat Deception. This might come to a shock that this is the only Mortal Kombat game on my list. And why did I pick Deception? I played a deceiving amount of this game. And not just the fighting aspect of it, but Mortal Kombat Deception was the first Mortal Kombat game that I know of that implemented this, I don't even know what to call it. There was this open world aspect to it where you could go explore, and then you could talk with the characters and train and learn how to do it. And then there was a graveyard you could go through and unlock skins for your characters, and back in the game developers showing you how they created the game and the voice actors and all this type of stuff. It is so underlooked of how great of a Mortal Kombat game it is. I think my second favorite one is, I think it's 9 or 10. The story was immaculate, and then probably Mortal Kombat Trilogy, and then 3, if I were to rate other Mortal Kombat games. But Deception got slept on, and I think it's one of the best. 49, Twisted Metal 4, a franchise that I think is virtually dead. They tried to do a Twisted Metal for the PS3 or PS4, and it kind of flopped. I absolutely loved Twisted Metal growing up. It's cars and carnage. And 4 for me was the one that I played a lot of. It was also the reason why I like Rob Zombie, because he did, I think, the whole entire soundtrack to it, and I think he's a playable character, or at least there's a car that's based off his aesthetic. If you don't know what Twisted Metal is, basically you can pick between this 8 or 9 characters. There's a pizza boy, there's a God, I can't even think. I haven't played Twisted Metal for so long. I have so many thoughts brewing because this is going to be a long video. There's a pizza boy. There's I don't know. Lots of different characters you can choose from. They all have different moves. You get put into a map, and you have to fight the other cars by shooting them and you have like special abilities, and you drive through boxes, kind of like Mario Kart. It's not a race. It's like an open map where you just drive around, and once you kill all of the NPCs who are on that map, then you have to fight a boss. And I remember like the first map has like a crane, so you can go park in the crane and then pick them up and drop them in like fire pits and stuff. And then like the second boss, you can go up on like some skyscrapers. And I remember there's like a maze map. And then the final map, you fight the clown. And the clown's a fucking dick. Great game though. 48, RollerCoaster Tycoon. A lot of my childhood was spent playing RollerCoaster Tycoon. If you aren't familiar, it's like a sim game where you're in control of like a theme park, and you build rides, you build attractions, and you have to like make your customers happy but also make money. And there's so many different modes. RollerCoaster Tycoon is one of those ones where like I'm not shocked if people haven't played this, because like you really just had to like know about it. It was popular, and I would say most people know what RollerCoaster Tycoon is, but I don't know if they've really played it. I enjoy it. I still play it to this day from time to time. Like I have it on my Steam. I'll load it up and fuck around for like 4 or 5 hours and build like a theme park or do one of the challenges. It's a lot of fun. 47, Alan Wake. Alan Wake was something that I had only recently played, and recently I mean within the past. I think I actually played it and beat it during the first or second week of the full pandemic lockdown. You play a guy named Alan Wake, and you are moving to this. You're like a fucking writer, like I don't know, artsy fartsy writer dude. And you go to this town, and shit just kind of pops off. I'm not gonna spoil it for anybody, but I like how the combat is in this game, because you have a gun, but you also like you use your flashlight because you're fighting these like shadow ghosts. And I just really like how in-depth the story gets for the type of game that it is. 46, Borderlands 2. Boy, I was one of those people that, found Borderlands 1 at GameStop or Game Crazy for like $8 or $9, played it with some buddies and loved it. And then Borderlands 2 came out, and I have a lot of fond memories of a couple of my friends growing up, and still friends to this day. Manuel, Tyler, I think even I don't know if he got into it, but those two specifically were heavy into Borderlands 2, and it's just such a fun game. I think they said there's like 1 million or something variations of guns and shields in this game. You can beat the game multiple times, raising the difficulty. The story is actually really good. The villain, Handsome Jack's great. Your characters you can choose from are all unique and interesting. It's like, what kind of game can I compare it to if you're not familiar? It's like a open world RPG shooter, like Destiny, but not like MMO style. It's just a really, really good game. 45, Assassin's Creed 2. I'm a big fan of the Assassin's Creed series as a whole. Well, I shouldn't say big fan. I'm a big fan of their first 4 or 5 games. And then Black Flag. But I put Assassin's Creed 2 on here because I spent the most time playing Assassin's Creed 2, Brotherhood, and Revelations. I love Ezio as a character. I love the story that they were telling. I mean, they even wrapped in like the apocalypse of 2012, if you guys remember that old wives' tale. And I hold the rare opinion that I thought Assassin's Creed multiplayer was so much fun. There was like 5 or 6 skins you could play as, and then you would load into a map, and there'd be all those skins walking around. And you as an assassin have to blend in with all the other skins. Like they look like you or they look like your enemies, and you had to blend in enough, and then also pay attention to where the other people are blending in, and you have to assassinate them. And if you get them wrong, you lose points, I think, or you kind of out yourself. It was really fun. 44, Resident Evil Village. I know that this is probably gonna maybe piss people off. I don't know. I played Resident Evil as a kid, but never beat any of them. And I, back when Hollywood Video and Blockbuster existed, I've rented like Resident Evil 4 a couple times, never beat it. Resident Evil 5 a couple times, never beat it. Resident Evil 2 I had, but if you've played the original Resident Evil 2, it definitely takes more patience than I had as a kid. And then I've recently got back into Resident Evil quite a bit. It started with 7, or is this 7? It started with Biohazard because I loved the trailer. And I actually liked Biohazard, even though I know a lot of people didn't. Sorry, I'm kind of squirming around. I'm still a little sore from my injury, and it sucks to sit for a long period. But when Village came out, I hopped on it. You got Lady D, who everyone, simped over, and I really, really liked Village. And I'm actually super excited to see where they're going to continue the story with. I'm not going to spoil anything. This isn't a spoiler thing, so I'm just excited to see where it's going to go. 43. This might rustle some jimmies. Pokemon has to be on this list for me because I stopped playing around Ruby Sapphire, not for any particular reason, but like I just never bought a DS and furthered my handheld gaming because I just really wasn't into it. But I did have a Game Boy SP and a Game Boy Color, and I played Pokemon. I had Pokemon Red, and then I got Gold and Silver, and then I got Ruby. And I think Gold, for me, is my favorite Pokemon game. You can disagree with me. I don't care. I don't. But I think that was the best and most fun I had in Pokemon. This is a wild card. This is one that's probably not going to be on many people's lists. Rainbow Six Vegas. And I'm kind of including Rainbow Six Vegas 2 in this as well, because they're both pretty much the same game. Basically, this is more of a military-style shooter where it's more like sim style, meaning like it's a simulation where like, you bullets drop and you could die with only 1 or 2 shots if you're playing on hard difficulty. I loved this game. And me and my buddies played this game a fuck ton. And it was such an interesting concept. Like Vegas has terrorists in it. So you're playing like in famous Vegas buildings and you play on the strip and all that type of stuff. Like it was just a really good old school shooter game that I think doesn't get any recognition anymore. I would love a remake or a Rainbow Six Vegas 3 with new age controls and graphics. You don't go back and play it. It fucking sucks now. But back in the day, it was great. 41, Starcraft 2. I played Starcraft 1 growing up, and I really had to debate which Starcraft game I was putting in. After long and hard and thinking about it, I gave it to Starcraft 2. I think it's probably one of the most polished second games in a series ever made. There's a couple that are definitely argue that with, but the amount of hours I played Starcraft 2, I'm a ladder grinder. I love competitive modes. I think the best I ever got was Plat 3 or 2. Protoss player. I love the story, the campaign in this, and I'm also a custom games guy, so I love Nexus Wars. I love Desert Strike. I've put a lot of hours in Starcraft 2. 40, Dead Space. I feel like Dead Space speaks for itself. And I feel like Dead Space could be higher on a lot of people's lists. Now, I do hold the opinion that I actually really, 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 really like Dead Space 2, where a lot of Dead Space fans don't. And then I felt 3 was the worst in the series. I don't know if I like 1 or 2 better. I'll be straight up with you guys. 1 is much more atmospheric, and you feel a lot more useless at points depending on what difficulty you're playing on. I felt like Dead Space 2 had so much more depth to it, but it's hard not to give the original. I have not gotten the remaster that just came out, and this isn't on the list because Dead Space is in the news. Just like there's going to be another game that I'm going to talk about that has been on my list since I played it, and it's not because other things are going on in the world right now. Dead Space is a horror game. It's a third-person shooter. You're in space, creepy aliens, plasma cutters. What's not to love? 39, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. Yes, this is the only Call of Duty on my list, and this is the only game that is on this list for multiplayer only. I love the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 story. It's fantastic, but this is on my list because this is when I really started playing competitive gaming. I've told my history of this game multiple times. I'm not going to dig into it, but I loved Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer, even though it was broken. I don't need to argue about that. I know it's broken, and I know all the glitches and know all the fucking dumb shit, Javelin glitch or one-man army noob tubes, Commando was broken. I get it. The guns weren't balanced. I get it. I played a lot. You don't got to argue with me. But it really sparked my desire to play games on a different level. Meaning, like, it wasn't just casual. Like, I played for money. I played on a team. I wanted to be the best. And I wasn't. I'll admit that. I wasn't. Famous story of me and my group of dudes that I played with back in the day. We joined a big online tournament back when they used to do them through, I forget there was a website, and then we would use, what was the TeamSpeak? I don't know. And then Xbox messages, but it was this ginormous tournament, and we got in. You had to pay to get in. We got in, and we won the first couple rounds. It was like 256 entries or something like that. It's like ginormous thing. And then we went against a team that was like the fourth or fifth farm team for like an actual like competitive team at the time, and they like 3-0'd us, and I don't think we really got any kills. And we were like, oh, okay, so we're good enough to like play some people, but we're not good. But yeah, Modern Warfare 2 is on this list just for that. Super Mario 64. I still play Super Mario 64. I really want to speedrun Mario 64. I follow that speedrun community religiously. Well, I shouldn't say religiously. Sorry, that's the wrong word. I follow that speedrunning community quite a bit, and it's the only one that I really do keep up on. I loved the game growing up. I played it. I beat it. I have got all 120 stars. Like, and I know like some of the speedrunning mechanics. I've been practicing it a little bit, but I'm not at the point where I'm ready to make any videos or stream it, because it would just be embarrassing, and I don't need someone coming in and saying, why are you timing your playthrough or your let's play, because it will break my fucking heart. But I grew up with this game. It was a staple of my childhood. It will always be in my top 50 list. 38 doesn't, now that I'm talking about it, 38 doesn't feel like I'm doing it justice. 37, Civilization 5. I'm not going to talk a lot about Civ. Civ's one of those games where, like, if you know, you know. If you play it, you play it. If you don't, I can't even try to begin to explain to you. But the one thing that Civ did for me is it has such a ginormous learning curve that when you finally figure it out and you're able to beat, and there's like hundreds of ways you can play this game. Like, you're able to finally understand how to win, and you like achieve it for the first time. Probably top 10 most rewarding games out there. And like, Civ's the type of game where you could play like, playing like 12-hour games is not uncommon. It's crazy. If people want, I can maybe do a Civ video. I'm not good at the game. First and foremost, not good at the game. And I don't play it regularly, so I'm not in practice. But I would be willing to make a video on it if people want to see it. It's an intense game. Chrono Trigger. Probably one of the first RPGs I ever played, and still arguably one of the best games, RPGs that have existed. I don't know if I'm going to be able to talk much about this, because I'll be honest with you, I don't remember a lot of it, because it's been way over 10 years since I've played this game. But I always remember Chrono Trigger. 35, Pikmin. Yes, I was a GameCube guy. I got a GameCube as a Christmas gift when I was younger, and Pikmin was one of the games that came with it, and I love it. It's like a real-time strategy game, but like more in depth almost. Like, you gotta keep your population of Pikmin under control. You can only have a limited amount, but you can lose them all the time. And then the red, yellow, and blue ones all have different immunities or do different things. Like the yellow ones you can throw them a lot higher. The red ones are resistant to fire, and obviously the blue ones can go in water. And it's actually a really hard game. I think I'll go ahead and admit I don't know if I've ever got the 30 parts in 30 days. I don't know. I don't think I have. So maybe I need to figure out a way to record this one and go back and do it. But I sure as hell tried. I've probably played several hundred hours. I don't want to say that. Maybe 100 hours of Pikmin. But that was younger me. Me now, I should be able to beat it. I hope. 34, Star Wars Battlefront 2. The original one, not the new one. I think that this is arguably one of the best multiplayer experiences you could ever have. Whether you played this with your friends or you played this online, it is so good and so fun. I don't even really know how to explain it. Like it's like a control domination style, most of the maps. And you can, let's say you're playing the Republic against the Trade Federation, and you're the Republic. You can pick between like one of 5 classes. There's like a trooper, a medic, a sniper, a rocket launcher, and I think there's one more. A sniper, I think I said that already. And then like as you participate in the battles and stuff, you can upgrade like to like, I know one of them has like a Wookiee that's like stronger and has a bowcaster. But if you're doing really good, you can have the option to play as a hero, and that's how you could play as like Darth Maul or Obi-Wan or Vader, and it's super cool. And fun fact, arguably just as good, if not better, there is a Lord of the Rings version of this that is amazing. Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne, or just Warcraft 3 in general. Yes, I'm an RTS person. I've played RTSs my whole life, real-time strategy. I was an undead player. I probably had 1,200 wins. I don't know what my win-loss ratio was. I played a lot of Warcraft 3, but that wasn't even where I sunk most of the time in. It was the custom games. It was Dota, OG Dota, and tower defense games. Burnbog Tower Defense, Winter Mall. Like, I still play the reforged custom games to this day. Like, I have spent so much time in Warcraft 3. I love it. Mario Kart 8. This was tough because I originally put Double Dash, and I was like, no, I like Mario Kart 64 better. And then like as I was writing this, like doing this little PowerPoint dumb thing, I was like, yeah, realistically Mario Kart 8's the best. It's got the maps, it's got the customization, it's got the character pool. It's the best one. I don't think, do we really have to elaborate on Mario Kart? Come on. 31, Gears of War. I will, however, elaborate on this because I don't know if this is going to be on a lot of people's lists or not. So Gears of War for me is a sentimental one. And I don't mean sentimental as in like it made me cry. There was sad parts in the second and third one. But my best friend growing up, his name was Austin. I don't think he watches any of these videos. And if he does, hey, I hope you share the same opinion still. But we were big gamers, and we got Gears of War, and we didn't know anything about it. And come to find out, the two main characters, Marcus and Dom, one was a big white guy, and the other one was a big brown guy. And I just happened to be Marcus when we loaded in. He happened to be Dom loading in. And it was almost like this weird, like, we didn't really comment on it, but it was like, we're like, wow, this is fucking crazy. Like, this is so cool. And we played every Gears of War that came out religiously. And I will forever hold that close to my gaming heart. It was one of those moments, man. You guys know how it is. Couch co-op back in the day. I know everyone has memories. And there's games that you played that you're like, you know, it might not have been a great game, but it holds so many memories. And that's what gaming's about. For me, at least. It's like, you know, I still want to be competitive in some of these shooters and shit, and, you know, some of these other ways to be competitive, like League or Starcraft or whatever's out there, Valorant, chess. But at the end of the day, the best memories I have are the ones from my childhood and the ones playing co-op with buddies and whatnot. 30. Do you know the definition of insanity? That's all I'm going to say. I fucking love Far Cry 3. 29, Cuphead. Arguably one of my favorite artistic games that I've ever seen, and probably one of my favorite, if not my all-time favorite, 2D scroller. That's a bold statement to say. It's so different and it's so fun, and it's very difficult. It's a very, very difficult game, but like when you beat it, like it's fair. It's difficult but fair. Like I know why I'm dying. It's my fault. It's not because the game sucks, and I love that, and I love the art. It's just such a fun game. Age of Empires 2, another real-time strategy game that I feel like 28 is too low. I've sunk a lot of hours in Age of Empires 2. The campaigns are all historical campaigns. Like the first one you do is Joan of Arc. And I don't even know where to begin. Between Age of Empires 2, Age of Mythology, and Star Wars Galactic Battlegrounds, I played these growing up all the time, and I played them with my dad too, so it holds even more sentimental value. It's so fun. Shout out to Iron Chef on Twitch. He's doing big things in Age of Empires 2, and I fucking love Age of Empires 2. And you know what? If everything were to fail and I were to like only play one game and grind and try and be competitive and not like worry about trying to do like what's the word? Multiple different things to make content, I'd probably just do Age of Empires 2. 27, Resident Evil 2 / the remake. So I kind of commented on Resident Evil 2 a little bit earlier in this video, but I wanted to dive into it. So like OG Resident Evil 2 is very difficult to play, at least I think, and I was never able to beat it growing up. But now there's the remake out, and I'm actively doing a playthrough on this channel of it. Now, I'm further along in the playthrough than the videos are. Have I beat it yet? We'll see. Who knows? But it has to be on my list. It might be the best remake of a video game that has ever existed. Because it's not just a remaster, it's a full remake, and it feels and acts and just everything is better than the original, in my opinion. 26, you can't not have GTA 5 in your top anymore. Just the campaign alone is absolutely phenomenal. You play between the three characters. You got lots of characters. The missions are amazing. The story's great. It all connects. It's just a lot of fun. And we're not even talking about the countless hours of playing with the homies online or on the couch. I mean, I didn't do it as much with GTA 5. Yeah, I did. Yeah. We used to do nights where we'd all, like, the boys would get together and we would, like, take turns, like, seeing how long we could last and how many stars we could get up to. And same with GTA 4. I don't know, man. GTA 4 and 5 are so good. San Andreas was good. Grand Theft Auto just as a whole is so good. And it sucks that it's still, to this day, like, certain generations just think it's, like, this thing because, like, you happen to be able to do a couple weird activities that people frown upon. I don't know. It's just dumb. 25. A game that I will never let slip through my grasp. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. If you know, you know. 24. Minecraft. Listen. You can deny Minecraft all you want. If you haven't played it and you just want to hate, go ahead and hate. I don't care. I've had great memories with people in Minecraft. I've built things in Minecraft I'm proud of. It's a great game because you can do everything. There's mods for everything. You can literally create other games in Minecraft. Like it's so good. 23, Left 4 Dead 2, one of my favorite shooters of all time. This one's another sentimental one where me and buddies would play split screen all the time. We play online multiplayer. I still play Left 4 Dead 2 on Steam. There's a huge modding community that's a lot of fun. People still play all the time. There's active people every single day. You can go and get in matches. It does kind of suck because some of them are hacked, but not all of them are. But the modding community was able to make so many maps, so many customization. Like just on mine alone right now, I think all the main characters are dinosaurs. The hunter is like this like anime character. The tank is Shrek. All of the infected are Zoidbergs. Like there's just so much shit you can do. 22. Listen. The community I very dislike. I'm going to be straight up with you guys. I do not like a vast majority of the Undertale community. It's very cringe. It's very weird. And I don't like the sexualization of some of these characters. I think it's weird. However, when the hype was going around about Undertale, I was like, okay, listen. I can't not play it because there's too much hype around it being such a phenomenal game. And guess what? It is. It is a phenomenal game. Wholesome, cute, good combat, multiple ways to beat it, surprises, story left turns. It's really good. It really is. I recommend Undertale to anyone, and it's friendly for most ages, I believe. It's a good game. 21. Final Fantasy VII. It's on everybody's list. If you played it, it's going to be on your list. I will say this, though. I hold a very rare opinion where I think Final Fantasy VIII is just as good as Final Fantasy VII, and I probably have played 8 more. But Final Fantasy VII is the GOAT. I'm not going to argue with that. There's a reason it's on my list and everyone else's list. And 21 is probably really low or really high compared to most people. 20, Dark Souls. Now it does say remastered, but that's not. That was just the coolest picture I could find really quick. Listen, From Software makes probably the best games. Like their game catalog, at least any Souls-like game that they create, I think is the best catalog out there. I do. I love Dark Souls. I liked Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 3 was fantastic. Bloodborne is fantastic. Sekiro is fantastic. Demon Souls was good. Elden Ring is fantastic. They don't miss with their Souls-like games. They just don't. And Dark Souls is the first. Well, Demon Souls is technically the first Souls game. Dark Souls is the one that kind of put them on the map in a big way. I've beat it a handful of times. I'll probably beat it a handful more times in my life. It's a really well-rounded RPG. Very difficult. Very hard. That's why I like it. 19, Shadow of the Colossus. I haven't played this in a long time, but Shadow of the Colossus is a game that I always talk about being one of the greats. It's just boss battles. There's big colossuses. The fights are cool and complicated. Can be difficult at times, but it's a game that will never be left out of any conversation in my eyes of the top 50. Half-Life and Half-Life 2. I'm combining the two here, which might be sacrilege compared to some people. Half-Life was such a weird experience for me because I actually found out about Half-Life through YouTube back in like 2006 or 7 from I don't remember the dude's name, but it was called Freeman's Mind, which is Gordon Freeman. And I watched him play this game and I'm like, man, he makes this look so entertaining. I want to play it. So I got it, and it was so fucking hard because I didn't know where to go. But I sunk the hours in to learn what I'm doing and beat both the games. And now I can beat them, eyes closed, running through them. But it's just, if you haven't played, it's so weird because it's like, I know a lot of people would play Half-Life and don't like it. They wouldn't like it. Excuse me, sorry. But it's like, it's almost like a product of its time, but it's, I don't know, man. There's so much in depth to it that you have to like dig into. I don't know. It's good. 17 Stardew Valley. If you want to fucking throw hands about it, go ahead. I love Stardew Valley. I'll always play Stardew Valley. It's relaxing, it's calm, it's wholesome, it's cute. There's lots of shit to do. I like farming games. Hate on me. Halo 2. Halo 2. Halo 2. 15. Bioshock Infinite. This game does something that I feel like companies are so afraid to do, and that's touch anything with alternate dimensions and timelines. And not only do they touch it, they blow it out of the fucking water. The combat in this game's good. It's difficult if you play on the hardest difficulty, like really difficult. It keeps that Bioshock, like, what was so good about Bioshock 1, they're able to recreate that with better graphics and a whole new world and reimagination, but still make it feel like a Bioshock game. It's so good. I love it. Fallout New Vegas. Big Fallout fan. My computer, I don't want to change my camera because it's in a good spot right now. My computer is a Fallout computer case. I struggled to think which one I would put on here between this and 3. I do like Fallout 4 as well. The old ones are old, but you know they're still good in their own right. 76 I haven't got into because I heard it was a train wreck, but I've heard it's actually gotten better. But with how much content is in Fallout New Vegas, and then like the hundreds of hours of content that people have created through mods, I have to give it to New Vegas. I have to. 13. This one, most people will probably have no idea what it is. Vandal Hearts. It was like a JRPG. I'm going to keep this one brief because like no one knows what it is really. Like very few people. And if you do, fucking shout out. It's such a good game. And it's hard to, from 15 to 1 is really hard for me because any of these games could be in my top 2. But Vandal Hearts is like a JRPG that got released in America, and it's like a tile churn-based game, kind of like a Fire Emblem. And the story is so in-depth and good. I love all the characters, and it is difficult as shit. 12. Speaking of From Software games, Bloodborne. I personally think Bloodborne has the best aesthetic of any of the games. I love the creepy werewolf, like bell tower, old English type of aesthetic. I know there's a word for it, but it's not coming to mind. It's a From game, so you know it's hard as shit. Bloodborne's great, and I can't say it. I'm not gonna say it's the best one, but aesthetically it's the best one for me, and I think it's a lot of fun. Not the hardest one though. 11, Halo 3. I love Halo 3 for a lot of reasons, but one of them, I've probably beat Halo 3 about 15 times with 15 different friends. And I hold all of those moments really close to my heart because it's just like, there's nothing better than on a Friday night going to get some snacks, getting some drinks, getting your boys, playing Halo 3 campaign. Or what we did all the time is we'd play Sand Trap, turn on speed, and play like a zombie with gravity hammers and shit. Just so many good memories, man. Okay, so next is going to be 3 pages of honorable mentions. We got one that's very obscure, MLB Slugfest 2003. It's kind of like an NBA Jam or an NFL Street, where you could punch people and hit them and your guys catch on fire if they're doing good. Played a lot of it. I actually really like LA Noire, even though that's one that's like has a lot of love and hate. A big fan of it. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is obviously on there for a reason. That game still has a huge community around it, and people play it all religiously. Assassin's Creed Black Flag, I think, is probably the most entertaining one to play but I don't think it's the best story. And people forgot, my face is in the way. Oh no. The Walking Dead Telltale series. Listen, they beat it to a pulp to where it got really dumb, but that first season is like fantastic story. Oh, it was better than the Walking Dead show. Tenfold. Okay, next page. We got Marvel vs. Capcom 2, one of the best fighting games of all time, with a ginormous and amazing character selection. Gauntlet Legends, big fan of the Gauntlet series. Gauntlet Legends is by far my favorite. League of Legends, have to be on there. Love League of Legends. GoldenEye, listen, Perfect Dark is a better shooter. GoldenEye has the better story and the better clout. Mass Effect 2, obviously, speaks for itself. And then let's see your last page. We got Turtles in Time. Big fan of that. Super Ghouls and Ghosts. Your PTSD must be high if you have gotten through that game. It is so difficult. Alien Isolation, one of my favorite horror experiences ever. And that's the thing that sucks about this list is I'm a huge horror junkie, but it's like, can I really put like Layers of Fear or Amnesia on a top 50 list? I don't know. Maybe. Donkey Kong Country, big fan. Super Mario Bros. 3. I mean, that game is in a lot of people's top 10 alone, so that's fair. Okay. Top into our final top 10 games. We have Bioshock at number 10. We already talked about Bioshock Infinite, but the original Bioshock, I think, tells one of the greatest horror stories possible. Well, I shouldn't say horror stories, but one of the biggest left turns in gaming during that time period. The Big Daddies were horrific. The whole entire game has this underwater steampunk aesthetic that's just fucking kick-ass, but also scary. This was like one of my first like real like games where I would like try and stay up late to play, and it would scare the shit out of me. Love Bioshock, man. 9. Portal 2. Portal 1 is amazing. I think Portal 2 takes that and just blows it out of the water. The story's great. The cake is a lie. Cave Johnson's the man. And the multiplayer. Like, I personally hadn't played any multiplayer puzzle games before. I know there's a bunch out now, but Portal 2's multiplayer puzzle, one of the best. One of the best. 8. Diablo 2. Sunk a lot of hours into Diablo 2 as a kid. Sunk quite a bit of hours into Diablo 2 on the remaster. Still go back to it. I still have an open series on this channel of my hardcore playthrough of Diablo 2. It's just really difficult, and I don't want to die. It's a phenomenal game. 7, as I'm sure people would imagine, Elden Ring. Even though it's only been out for a short amount of time, there's a reason it won Game of the Year over God of War, and there's a reason it'll probably go down as one of the greatest games ever created. It's an epic with story that's not in your face, just like every other From Software game. But when you do find the story, it's crazy. It's very in-depth. George R.R. Martin, the creator of Game of Thrones, wrote it. The combat in this game is phenomenal. The bosses are beautiful and amazing. The scenery, everything about this game is a 10 out of 10. And it will... The more that I play it, this might creep up into my number 1 spot. 6. Okay, this is the one. This is the one everyone's gonna be like, oh, it's because the show's out. Incorrect. The show's out and killing it because the game killed it originally. Last of Us has been in my top 10 for a long time. I don't ever see it leaving my top 10. It tells an amazing story. The gameplay's great. It's hard as shit if you play on the right difficulties. You get emotionally attached to these people because it's the most, in my eyes, it's one of the best. I mean, it is one of the, like, not arguably, on paper, it's one of the best written games of all time. And you get attached to these characters tremendously. It's phenomenal. I'm glad that they made a show, and I'm glad that it's doing well, because not only is that going to put people onto the game, It's going to make people realize that there's games out there with amazing stories that need to be put into cinematic, into cinematic life. You know, there really is. And Last of Us is that fucking top echelon. 5. The goddamn O'Driscolls. Red Dead Redemption 2 is a pretty slow burn at the start, but you soon you slowly start really loving these characters. And you start getting attached, and you start caring, you start giving a shit. There's funny missions, there's serious missions, there's the fucking O'Driscolls. And the ending left me destroyed. It did. Wasn't just fucked. I think it's one of the greatest single player games to ever exist. I wish their multiplayer was on par with GTA 5, but I can't get everything in life. You know, I don't even really want to talk about Skyrim because everyone knows what it is, right? So my top 3 I know is going to get some interesting things. So let me clear my throat. 3, World of Warcraft. Now listen, I've been playing World of Warcraft since 2004, 2005, on and off my whole entire life. I'm currently playing it now in Wrath of the Lich King Classic. I've met people who I have had friendships with for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and even 10 and 12 years that I still talk to on a semi-regular basis, if not a very regular basis. Those relationships were built pre-Discord, Facebook, not Facebook, but how easy it is to stay connected with gaming friends now. That's what World of Warcraft is so good at. The game alone, there's been amazing parts, there's been shit parts. That's what happens when a game has been out for 20 some odd years. There's been expansions that suck, there's been expansions that are amazing. But it's that ability to make friends with people to come and accomplish a goal in a game like World of Warcraft. Will always be in my top 3. I've put so many days of my life in this game that it's gross, but it makes me happy. 2, that's right, Star Fox 64. I play this game every single year. It was one of the first games I ever beat. I absolutely love and adore this game. I could probably beat it blindfolded at this point in my life, but I don't know. It's you know how you have those things as an adult that just immediately shoot you back to when times were different. There wasn't stress, there wasn't anxiety, there wasn't this need to do better, or make more money, or make people happy, or go to work, or go to school, or you just you have that bliss, you have that that gratification, that satisfaction. That's what Star Fox 64 does for me. I don't know why. I don't. I think it's because regardless of what was going on in my life at the time, I could just play Starcraft and or not Star Fox, excuse me, and just be at peace. It's just a game. It's just a silly game. But I will forever hold it near and dear. I was so in love with this game even as a kid that, and I don't remember this, but my mom likes to tell this story that I forced my preschool teacher to call me Fox because I was Star Fox. It just does something for me, you know. It really does. My number 1 game of all time, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I don't think that any game that I've played has mastered the art of your decisions really impacting the game. And what I mean by that is everything you do is going to have an outcome at some point, and that could be as small as like, oh, you stole 200 credits from some dude. Okay, well now your relationship with one of your allies could be completely tarnished, and that relationship might be so tarnished that later down the game that it might screw you over, or you might have to make a harder decision. I'm a big Star Wars fan, so I'm biased. Mass Effect 2 is made by the same company and is able to achieve the same exact thing. And some people say Mass Effect 2 is the greatest game of all time. Right? But for me, the story that they're able to tell with these characters and the amount of worlds that you are able to explore, the Sith, the Jedi, it's amazing. I am holding on to dear hope that they make an Old Republic series, live action series, because I promise you, if they do it justice like this game does, it will be the best Star Wars project ever created. The character of Revan alone is one of the most interesting and fascinating characters in Star Wars lore, and that's what this game tackles. I'm currently playing through it on the channel. It is one of my favorite games. I've beat it 3 different times. This is going to be my 4th time. You can beat it as a good guy, as a bad guy, as a neutral guy, a gray guy. Like, there's tons of ways to do it. You can play the game with never using the Force or having a lightsaber. You can play the game shooting people. You can play the game by slapping people. There's so many ways to play this game. And the thing is like, each time you go out into the world, you can have up to 2 allies with you. And the allies could interact with each other in totally different ways. Your interactions with the allies could be different. So every time you play the game, you could potentially see new interactions with different combinations of characters you're playing with. Like, it is so crazy. Like, I know I'm not doing it justice, but I'm telling you that it's so in depth. I mean, the game is beautiful visually. Like, it's an older game. It doesn't look as good as like a new age Star Wars. It doesn't look as good as Jedi Survivor. Is that what it's called? It doesn't look as good as that, of course not. But it looks good for the time. It feels good, and the story is. I mean, I'm playing the playthrough I'm doing now. I'm going full evil Sith, and the shit that I'm able to tell people is ridiculous. Yeah, that's my top 50. Oh wait, I don't fuck with Zelda. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know. Give me your top 10 or your top 5 if you can. If you agree or disagree with me, that's fine. This is my list. We can argue. I'm more than happy to argue with games. I know a couple. I know someone in particular. I'm really interested to see what he thinks. I feel like I'm gonna get a little harsh judgment, but we'll see. Yeah, give me you guys' top 5 or top 10. I would love to hear as much as you're willing to share. And yeah, thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your day. Peace.